terms of installation, our ambition is to get CRM Bot published on Microsoft App Stores as soon as possible, but in the meantime the process is very straightforward. After speaking with our helpful chatbot, you will get a managed solution as well as your unique API key. All you have to do is install the solution on your chosen CDS and set up a connection to our Power Automate connector using the key you have been provided. All that is left for you to do is to organize your fulfillment and you're good to go. The entire process can be done in under 5 minutes. Let's have a look at what you get out of the box. It's simply yet another application. We start with Sessions tab that shows you the conversations your clients are having with you right now. By default, the logs are updated every hour, but this can be changed by yourself to be as often as every minute if you desire. From this screen, you can also see how many unique users you're talking to, as well as how many lines per conversations are they having. Finally, you're able to filter the intents that are being triggered right here. So we can see how many of our conversations involved, for example, adding a note. In CRM Bot tab, you have everything you need to build, customize, and publish your chatbot. Agent is an entity that contains all the key details regarding your app, as well as ability to test drive your bot. We'll come back to that in a minute. This is the entity that you have to set up first. From this screen, you can also publish your chatbot to your secure cloud. Every time you install your CRM bot, you get over 60 built-in entities. These are crucial things that chatbot can understand. You see some examples on the screen here. Anything from name to color to age to location, even numbers or food choices are available here. You can also define your own entities, and this will become very useful shortly. Intents are individual conversation topics. Entire conversation between a human and a chatbot is essentially a collection of intents that chatbot is able to understand, parse, and respond to. Each intent contains a variety of training phrases, examples for chatbot to train on, parameters, which are individual links between conceptual entity and particular iteration of it in an intent, and default responses, as well as a number of smaller support entities. So, okay, let's take a deep dive. So, I'm going to open this record here, web demo. Here is an example of a simple web portal chatbot. As you can see, you can emulate the web behavior without ever leaving your CRM. And this is super useful when you test various features. And now let's investigate one intent in particular, welcome intent. So we're going to navigate to intent screen and double click on a welcome intent. As you can see, this intent has one simple training phrase, hi, which is automatically translated into our case into Polish. This is one of the CRM Bot key features. Everything you build can be auto-translated into any language that supports Google Translate. Let's see what it looks like in real life. Pretty cool, eh? Going back to welcome. Not only we can see the training phrases, but we can also see the default responses. This allows you as a user to quickly create fantastic looking cards that wow your users without a single line of code. But what if you want more? Let's say instead of simply saying hello, your chatbot needs to ask for the user's name and then save that user as a contact in your CRM. That sounds pretty complicated, doesn't it? Well, not anymore. CRM Bot uses Power Automate to give you unlimited capabilities in terms of processing your user data and responding to them. First of all, we need to add some parameters to this intent to make sure that the chatbot knows what to expect. We're going to go back to the intent, and in the parameters tab, we're going to add new parameter. We're going to call it first name. So in the entity, we pick the right entity, and here we can make this parameter required. And this is really important. This allows you to essentially prompt your users to actually give you the information that you're after. We're now going to create a new intent, a new parameter. And here we have two parameters that the chatbot will now expect. If we go into the training phrases, we're just going to add a new training phrase. Just to make sure that we cater for those users that actually introduce themselves first. And that's pretty much it. If I now go back into my agent and click on Publish button, you are able to see all the publishing details right here. You do have to wait for a few seconds, but it shouldn't be too long of a wait. And now that's completed, we can go in and test our changes. So if we say hi now, we're going to be prompted to provide our first name and the last name. And you see, so we're halfway there. The bot understands your first name and last name. What's left to do is for us to actually do something about that information. So in order to do that, we need to do a couple of things. First of all, what we need to do is we need to enable custom fulfillment. Luckily for us, the fulfillment is now enabled. The second thing we need to do is go into our flows. And I've already created this flow called welcome intent. I'm going to edit that flow. And this flow is extremely straightforward. At the moment, all it does is it triggers on the welcome and then it builds a response. Let's actually adapt it a little bit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to navigate to our common data service. And we're going to create a new record. I'm going to create a new contact. And you see here that out of the many metadata details that you're able to use here, you now get first name and last name. So all we need to do is actually select the right fields. And we have now our first name, our last name, and we're now going to respond to you, greeting you personally. And just to prove that this works, I'm going to actually include your contact GUID in the description. We can save. By the way, if you're interested, I can show you some other types of things that we can create here. So we can also create adaptive cards, we can create media responses, quick replies, as well as simple text. And as I've mentioned before, we are able to send our messages as simple responses to user questions, or we can actually send them proactively. And that is super cool capability when you combine it with an ability to use CDS as a trigger. But let's come back to that at a later date. So our flow is now ready. We've saved it. We can now go back to our agent. And let's try it again. In fact, I'm going to actually trigger this slightly differently this time. Using my name is. So going back to the agent. And you see here that not only the bot responded extremely quickly, but also it welcomed me with my details and actually passed the unique GUID of the contact that has now been created in this CRM. We know this because if we look back at our flow, we will be able to see exactly what's happened in real life, in real time. Now, this is really the end of our demonstration in terms of simple publication and creating your own custom fulfillment. What's next, what I'd like to show you next, is how all of this capability can come together to deliver a fantastic user experience. So what I'm about to show you is actually a showcase applications that we have been working on for quite some time. It's not quite done yet, but it should hopefully be quite insightful. This is a sales assistant. So let me just actually begin the conversation. This application is a sales assistant, an application that aims at making salespeople's job that much easier. You can search for specific records. We cover accounts, contacts, and opportunities. So we're going to start by searching for an account. When a record is found, you can see a variety of details here that are coming directly out of your CRM. We show the location, we show key fields, activities and related records. You're even able to add your own activities or notes, change statuses, and investigate the details further. As I said, it's not fully complete yet, but you see the user experience here is really quite unique. From here you can go directly into your record in Dynamics. So what I'm about to do now is just create a new task for myself for the 4th to actually call them. So the entire application offers built-in proactive messaging. In the next phase, we will build a settings dashboard that allows you to define triggers and actions you would like to experience. And this is a community solution and uses out-of-the-box entities only. If you'd like to get a free copy of the Sales Assistant, please get in touch. Thank you very much for your time. I hope this was useful. We would be very excited to have an informal chat about your chatbot needs. So long.